and today I want to do a bookshelf tour. As I've been watching BookTube, I see people with these beautiful, to-the-ceiling bookshelves, and, well, I don't have that. As you can see behind me, they're only this big. They're little. And these aren't my only books. I actually have more hidden under my desk in little cubby holes. My desk is kind of wedged into the closet space. And there is a shelf on the top, and there's some books stacked up there with a lot of other stuff I've been hoarding like crazy, and now it's time to get rid of it. So anyways, I don't have like a camera right now, so I'm literally carrying my laptop around, so apologies. Here is the top. I got this cool poster. It's kind of, which is obviously like a reimagined Snow White, which I thought that was perfect for the top of my bookshelf because, you know, Disney retellings, Disney princess retellings. I'm really interested in reading some more of those. Okay, so just a candle. It's like a Christmas one. It's like cranberry or something. I just got this. It is the Buffy pop figure in her, when she fights the master dress. This little box holds a graduation present from my best friend Tracy, and they are the most beautiful. Was so happy. I've been talking to her about BookTube, and she wants to start reading more too, so she just got Gone Girl, and I don't know if she started reading it. There's also another feather with a key on it. It is so pretty. The next book I read, I'm going to be using one of those. I have this Twilight Saga tin. Inside is journals. My mom got that for me a long time ago. I just have this little empty basket sitting up here. I want to do one of those, like the rip it or ship it tag. So this will be handy for that. Here's another book that I am in the process of reading. So this will actually probably be my next book I finish. And then all my Harry Potter stuff. And this is actually my nice camera that I want to be able to start using, but it's been years and I need a better SD card and backup battery, which I can't afford to get right this second. On the first shelf, I sort of have this organized to classics on this side, and since I'm running out of space, I have books stacked up here to the top. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, 1984 by George Orwell, The Giver by Lois Lowry, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, East of Eden by John Steinbeck, The Odyssey by Homer, Emma by Jane Austen, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, What Happened to Goodbye by Sarah Deason, shoved up here on the top, Sonnets by Shakespeare, sorry for the sticker, I really need to pull that off, Beowulf, Everything's Eventual, 14 Dark Tales, short stories by Stephen King, Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll, Beautiful Darkness by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll, Delirium by Lauren Oliver, Requiem by Lauren Oliver, City of Bones and City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. I know I'm missing the other two in between. Scythe by Neil Schusterman, White Oleander by Janet Fitch, Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusick, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, The Constitution of the United States of America with the Declaration of Independence. It's really pretty with the little gold pages. The first three in the Game of Thrones series. Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and the first four in the Immortals series, I think. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, The Girl Who Played with Fire, The Girl in the Spider's Web by Stieg Larsson. However, this one says by David Lagerkrantz. Okay, next down, The Selection by Kiera Cass, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline. I'm not sure how to say that last name. My apologies. Beastly by Alex Finn. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And Hollow City, the second novel in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Daughters of the Moon Bind Up, Volume 1. includes Goddess of the Night, Into the Cold Fire, and Nightshade. And Daughters of the Moon Volume 2 includes The Secret Scroll, The Sacrifice, The Lost One by Lynn Ewing. Night World Volume 1 Bind Up includes Secret Vampire, Daughters of Darkness, Spellbinder. Night World Volume 2 includes Dark Angel, The Chosen, Soulmate by L.J. Smith. Thirst Volume 1 by Christopher Pike. The 9 Lives of Chloe King by Liz Branswell. This is also a bind-up. It includes The Fallen, The Stolen, and The Chosen. Stacked up here on top, Winter Girls by Lori Halse Anderson. I didn't know that she also wrote Speak. Asylum by Madeline Rue. Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. An Autobiography of an Execution by David R. Dow. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Succubus Shadows, Succubus Dreams, and Succubus on Top by Rochelle Mead. Unfortunately, I don't have the first in the series, which makes me really sad, because I have to get that obviously first before I start reading this series. The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Inherit the Stars by Tessa Elwood. The Fifth Wave and the Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. These are more of my historical books. The Bookseller of Kabul, and I apologize, I'm not sure how to say her name. In the Eye of the Sun by Adolf Suif. I'm sorry again, I'm not sure how to say her name. The Pirate Queen by Susan Ronald, about Queen Elizabeth I. The Children of Henry VIII by Alison Weir. Catherine de' Medici by Leonie Frida. Queen Isabella by Alison Weir. The Thistle and the Rose by John Plady. The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niefenegger. Sorry if I said that wrong. The Bullen King by Lauren Anderson. Daughter of Fortune by Isabel Allende. A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. Thunderstruck by Eric Larson. Frog Kisser by Garth Nix. What Light by Jay Asher, who also wrote 13 Reasons Why. Naked by David Sedaris. When You Are Engulfed in Flames by David Sedaris. And the last bottom shelf of this bookshelf, these are kind of like my vampire series, I think, or other like YA series. I guess this could be for that shelf. Okay, The Calling and the Gathering by Kelly Armstrong. It's part of a series. I'm not sure actually how many books are in it. I just found them on a 10-cent rack at the library, so I picked them up because they sounded really good. Quicksilver and Ultraviolet by R.J. Anderson. Again, I'm not sure how many in the series. I think it's a trilogy, which I don't have the other book. And I'm not actually going to pull these out and show off the covers, but I have 4 of the 6 books of the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. And I feel like there's another book to the series, but these were all that they had when I bought them. So here are 5 of the books of The Secret Circle by L.J. Smith. The Heir by Kier Cass. Sorry, I always trip up on her name. The Heir by Kier Cass, which obviously I have the selection in the wrong spot because obviously I don't have room down here anymore. Might have to remedy that later. Incarceron by Catherine Fisher. Everything on It by Shel Silverstein. Poems. Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Tallulah Rising by Glenn Duncan. Lasher by Anne Rice. And, well, this is, I was going to say it's like my Twilight shelf or my super fangirl shelf, but now it's kind of just anything goes. On the top here, I have 2 mangas. I don't even think they are the first ones. I haven't even read High School of the Dead, but I was interested in it. So I have High School of the Dead and Black Butler. Yeah, this is number 7, so maybe I should try to get the first 6. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Philosophy. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn. So in the wrong order. Oh my gosh, I have to fix that. The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. The Official Illustrated Guide of Twilight. Twilight Director's Notebook and Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, with the cover that matches, as you can see, Bella and Edward's favorite book. It goes down here with the Twilight stuff. The Greatest Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I would pull this out, but then it makes everything literally fall. I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young. I absolutely love this. I actually, sadly, have not finished it. But Neil Gaiman says, a candy-colored and vicious delight, and always dangerously funny. I would definitely have to agree. It definitely makes me want, like, cotton candy or something. I absolutely love the illustrations. I could probably do this as one big wrap-up, but I know that there are some other Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans, so I'm going to do one at a time. But this is Season 8 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the graphic novels. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Long Way Home is number 1. Number 2, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, No Future for You. Number 3, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Wolves at the Gate. Number 4, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Time of Your Life. Number 5, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Predators and Prey. Sorry for the sticker on top. Number 6, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Retreat. Number 7, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight. Number 8, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Last Gleaming. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked it up. If there is another one to Season 8, and then I will have to start collecting Season 9 and 10. So that's it for that bookshelf. Now, my little cubby holes, I tried my best to light it up down here, so we will just have to see. I didn't want to pull everything out, so here goes nothing. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Okay, and here's where I have all my Shakespeare stuff. Sorry for the shakiness, my laptop's literally balancing on my knees. Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, Cliff Notes edition. Shakespeare's The Tempest, Cliff Notes edition. Shakespeare's Hamlet, it's a parallel text edition. No Fear, Macbeth. If you don't know, these are side-by-side text in plain English and in the original text, which is the same as my Hamlet's parallel text edition. Midsummer Night's Dream, Othello by Shakespeare. Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. I had to pick this one up. It was so pretty. Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare, obviously. John Grisham's Grey Mountain. Thomas Burman Number. James Patterson. I don't even know how I got this book, but it's gonna go on my shelf. Maybe I'll give it a try one day. Midnight Club by James Patterson. Again, I'm not really sure how I ended up with this book. The King of Torts by John Grisham. These came from my kids' library. They were getting rid of boxes of books, and I grabbed these. Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens and Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. However, I already have a gorgeous copy of Great Expectations, so I might get rid of this one. The Witching Hour by Anne Rice. Whoops. Another copy of Hamlet by Shakespeare, but I think I'm going to try to sell this one back to my buy-sell-trade bookstore because I don't need it. I already have the parallel text edition. And if I had known that going into Shakespeare, I probably would have waited to find parallel text of all the books, but obviously I didn't. So, while it's still in beautiful condition, I'm going to see if my bookstore will buy back. The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. This is actually my husband's book. He was really a big fan of it. I'm keeping it on my shelf because I might give it a try. Or maybe one day when my son is ready to read a higher level, he will enjoy this. Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I absolutely love this book. This one is my husband's book, Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. He absolutely loves Michael Crichton books. I don't even know if he's actually finished reading this. Poor guy is way too busy at work lately, so he doesn't get time to read. Over here on my other shelf, I have like a box full of different pens and stuff. Down here, I have this like thing full of sticky notes and page flags. Yeah, I kind of have an obsession with that. On the far back shelf, another book that was free from my kids' library, The Little Prince. I actually never read this growing up. Isn't that sad? The Lightning Thief, and now that I look at that, do I have 2 copies? That's crazy. Maybe I'll see if I can sell the other one back. So another Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Vampire Diaries, Stephen's Diaries Volume 1, Origins by L.J. Smith. Stiff, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. House of Incest by Anais Nin. It's really tiny. I think it's kind of meant to be more of a book of poems or prose or something. A Spy in the House of Love by Anais Nin. The Diary of Anais Nin, Volume 1, 1931 to 1934. Tropic of Cancer by Henry Miller. Cut by Patricia McCormick. San Francisco Poems by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. I absolutely love this book, although I have to say I'm not a huge fan of his poetry, but I will be keeping this because, I got this on a trip to San Francisco from the City of Lights bookstore, so it's actually kind of precious to me. Running with Scissors with Augustin Burroughs. Love Her Wild by Atticus, another book of poems. Adultolescence, it is a book of poems by Gabby Hanna. It's actually really funny. I love it. The Republic by Plato. Memoirs, Dreams, Reflections by C.G. Jung. Friedrich Nietzsche and the Politics of the Soul, a study of heroic individualism. This one does not have a book jacket, so there's not really any point in displaying it. Philosophies of Art and Beauty, and I believe it is a compilation, philosophers on those topics. On this shelf, these two books are actually kind of funny. They are from my childhood. It's just a random lettering book. And this one was a gift from my mom because I always liked art and she just thought this would be something fun to do. But it's just a thumbprint drawing book. And it has really cute ideas like making little spiders and caterpillars out of your thumbprints. This is another one from my childhood, Mad About Madeline. The Complete Tales, Ludwig by Lou. This was actually a book from my mom to Michelle Agullo, My Name Before I Got Married, Christmas 1993. I'm not going to do the math right now. I don't know how old I was. These are my husband's books. He always loved these comics growing up, and I really like them too. I actually got my son into reading by letting him read some comics, and we would laugh together about them, and I thought they were really great because he could relate to them, to this little boy, Calvin. So they're just the Calvin and Hobbes books. For a while there, I really wanted to learn watercolor. I'm not 100% given up on that, but this was a beautiful book on water, paper, and paint. It's has really nice projects and how to mix watercolors and ink. Tokyo Cult Recipes. So basically a recipe book for Japanese cooking. I was given these wonderful books. Knitting Instructions by Rowan. They make the most beautiful things, and it's going to be a long time before I can knit that well, but it's really nice to have them. My brother gave them to me, and I also got this from him, the Crochet Boutique, and it is another book. Oh, hey, patterns. I'm really not sure if I'm going to read this or not. I think I should have picked a different book to kind of brush up on Hillary Clinton. Anyways, I was kind of looking for a biography, but I'm not sure this is a really good one. It's Living History, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Alright, and this is my shelf that starts getting into Spanish that I want to learn. These are actually English editions, but they're just hiding down here because I ran out of room. They're just double copies that I'm going to write in. These four are the Twilight series in Spanish, Dirty Spanish and Conversational Spanish, Japanese at a Glance, Latin American Spanish, Speak Spanish, Text and Workbook. I found this at a thrift store, but it turns out it's not a very good book, so I'm probably actually going to toss it. I might consider selling it back to the bookstore so I can free up space, focus on all the books that I have that are good, such as Spanish Now. This is a huge workbook and it has a DVD as well. So this is the shelf I have dedicated to my language learning. I have this giant workbook, Spanish Now, 2 UB notebooks. I really like they're small, thin, and flexible, and so I've been keeping my Spanish notes in here. Here is another one. I really liked this notebook because of the colored pages at the end. 501 Spanish Verbs. Spanish in 3 months. I found this. It's actually a whole bunch of DVDs which are jammed in there because I don't have like a DVD holder for it anymore because, you know, who uses those anymore? But I found this at a thrift store. Beginner's Japanese. This law dictionary, one of the reasons I really dedicated myself to learning Spanish is because when I go into
the paralegal field, I would like to be able to communicate with more people. A lot of places now have many Spanish-speaking people. It would just be really wonderful to be able to add that to my list of skills. So anyways, I found this book, and it's actually really outdated, which I guess is not that big of a deal, but I thought that I could start translating common words that I would be using in the field. And then a basic Spanish to English dictionary. I'm not sure I actually got the right book. It's just really big and cumbersome, and I've seen a lot better ones, but I'm not going to rebuy another dictionary, so I'm just going to use this one.
Alright, so that concludes my bookshelf tour, and it got a little weird there, sorry, with having to crouch underneath my desk. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think. Alright, bye!